Yes, good morning. Dr. Michael Rice says there's been a historic level of local control when it comes to districts doing what they feel is best for their students and families and for those students learning. In fact, he says that nationally, there are as many approaches to how to teach students safely during this pandemic as there are school districts. And so across the board, what he's calling for now, as you mentioned, is for additional school days next year, although he did not specify a number. He's also calling for students to return in all districts to some form of in-person learning if those districts are comfortable.
It is desperately necessary that we get a handle on this, that we figure out how to best educate our kids in this space and how to get them back on track as soon as possible.
And so the joint House and Senate Education Committee's conversation with the state superintendent centered on how to counter the negative impacts of the pandemic's disruption on schooling.
We need to pivot to a new, better normal, not simply back to where we were pre-pandemic.
At the start of this school year, Dr. Michael Rice says about 3/4 of all school districts in Michigan offered an in-person option, with only 23% fully remote. By December, it was half and half.
In the absence of these orders, more people would have become infected and more would have died.
At the same time, he says the downside is many students haven't learned as much as they should have in the last year with all the disruptions. So he's calling on the state legislature to increase school days next school year. The current minimum number of school days is 180.
But that's just the beginning. There needs to be a layering of additional time.
And so he did not suggest a specific number of additional days. He says there are a lot of things to consider for all of the districts and all of the students across our state. Now, the governor called for a specific date of March 1st for all districts to return to some form of in-person learning. However, the state says they will not penalize districts if for some reason they feel uncomfortable. Reporting live this morning, Darren Cunningham, 7 Action News.